Started to leave, and Combs called me, Flores said. He had a sack of money, and he threw it at me, and he said, "Don't tell anyone." Clearly, they tried to remove these videos.
He pinned Diddy breaking down the hotel footage against the wall and refused the bribe. The unedited hotel video that just leaked shows exactly what happened when security guard Israel Flores confronted one of the most powerful men in music, and it's nothing like what Diddy's team claimed today. We're breaking down the shocking surveillance footage that the court tried to hide, showing what really happened between Diddy Cassie and the hotel security guard who became an unexpected hero. The jury's reaction, absolute stunned silence as they watched
one another in person since their 2018 split. Federal prosecutors claim Combs used lies, drugs, threats, and violence to coerce his ex-girlfriend into encounters with mutes. Ventura said the encounters typically lasted between 36 to 72 hours, the longest one lasting 4 days. Ventura is currently married and pregnant with her third child. She told the jury today about how the hip-hop mogul controlled her life and their relationship. All 5 charges
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I ain't gonna be able to play that. Basically, Cassie was saying all the things Diddy used to do to her, like physically. So it seems like, she was trying to keep him happy, not upset him because he could get violent, as we've seen in that video. Yeah, and again, I'll say it again, that, he's not being charged with the domestic stuff, but it's just crazy how they say it. His team is admitting to it. They're saying, like, all of this stuff that's being alleged against him, like, they're saying with the domestic stuff, like, yes, you know what I mean? Because he's not being charged with that. So it just blows my mind, man. They're like, he did that. But
the hotel surveillance video, Flores' testimony facing Diddy that leaked on day 3 of the trial showed exactly what Diddy didn't want anyone to see. Let's talk about what this footage actually shows. Because trust me, it's way worse than what his team has been claiming this whole time. This video from 2016 captures everything that went down at the Intercontinental Hotel. The court tried to keep this footage private, but now we all get to see the truth. And the truth isn't pretty. The unedited surveillance video shows Diddy wearing nothing but a towel in the hallway of the hotel, looking completely out of control. This isn't the polished music mogul we're used to seeing on red carpets when you look at the hotel room itself. It's completely trashed. We're talking about a smashed flower vase, shattered across the floor. This wasn't just some little argument that got heated. This was a full-blown violent situation. The room destruction alone tells us that whatever happened before the cameras started rolling was intense and scary. What's really telling is how different this footage is from what Diddy's team has been saying all along. They've been spinning this whole story as just a minor disagreement, nothing physical, nothing to worry about. But the video doesn't lie. The security footage shows Cassie literally cornered on the floor, visibly terrified. While Diddy towers over her, she's described as scared with her hood on, trying to cover herself up, desperately wanting to get her phone and escape. And here's something super suspicious. After this whole incident went down, the footage mysteriously disappeared from the hotel records like it never happened. If it wasn't for someone who took matters into their own hands, we might never have seen this evidence at all. Someone knew this video would be damaging and tried to make it vanish the most. Shocking part is watching Diddy actively trying to prevent Cassie from leaving. The woman is clearly in distress, visibly scared, trying to get away, and he's blocking her, intimidating her, using his physical presence to control the situation. This isn't the behavior of someone having a normal argument. This is power and control on full display for years. Diddy has carefully crafted this image as a respected businessman, a music visionary, a mentor. But this footage rips that mask right off. In those unedited moments, we see a man who appears willing to use fear and intimidation to control someone smaller and more vulnerable than him. The jury watching this footage for the first time sat in complete silence. You could literally hear a pin drop in that courtroom as they saw the stark reality of what happened that night. This wasn't just telling a story anymore, this was seeing it with their own eyes. And what they saw was a woman trapped, cornered, and terrified while a powerful man tried to control her. But in the middle of this awful situation, someone unexpected stepped up. Someone who wasn't famous, didn't have millions of dollars, but had something much more important. The courage to do what was right when no one else. That person was Israel Flores, the security guard, who responded to the call about a woman in distress on the 6th floor, and his testimony is breaking the internet for all the right reasons.
Released. They talked about this video a couple days ago as witnesses were there on trial. And yes, the jury, after much speculation previously, there was a lot of back and forth. Diddy tried so hard to not have this come out, but that video of Cassie and Diddy in the hotel hallway was shown to the jury. The whole video was shown to the jury. And I want to play a portion of it now because this was a part that was never seen before. I'm not going to show you the stuff that we can't show, you know, it's a hard watch. But here is this individual. This is a key witness, Israel Flores. He's now an LAPD officer, was the security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel in 2016. And here he is in that hallway. Now, he testified against Diddy, as you can see him here conversing with Diddy. And he was the individual who got Cassie out of that room. He also later pinned down Diddy when Diddy tried to bribe him. It's absolutely wild. So as you're watching this, I'm going to go through some of the testimony that was revealed during his testimony. Now, he testified he was on a shift that day at the Intercontinental Hotel in March 2016, where surveillance video showed Combs doing what he did to Cassie in that hallway. It occurred around 11 a.m., and Flores was called in to a woman in distress on the 6th floor. He testified that he recognized Combs, who was in a towel, but did not recognize Cassie at the time. She was scared. She was in the corner, hood on, covered up. I couldn't see her face. She was pretty much in the corner on the floor. On the floor was a destroyed flower vase. Now, he says that Combs told him they were arguing. He noticed Cassie trying to walk away and get her phone, but Combs told her she wasn't going to leave. The former hotel guard said he put his body on the doorway and stood for a few minutes until Cassie left the room. I started to leave, and Combs called me, Flores said. He had a sack of money, and he threw it at me.
Israel Flores wasn't just any security guard. He's the man whose testimony is now breaking the internet because he did something almost nobody does. He stood up to Diddy when it actually mattered. Now, an LAPD officer, Flores was working security at the Intercontinental Hotel back in March 2016, when everything went down. It started with a simple call, woman in distress, 6th floor. Just another night on the job, right wrong. When Flores arrived at the scene, he immediately recognized one of the most famous music moguls in the world, Diddy. The woman, he didn't know yet that she was Cassie Ventura. But what he saw told him something was seriously wrong. This is where Flores faced a moment that would change the course of this whole case. Does he follow hotel protocol? Treat this like a normal disturbance and maybe give the celebrity special treatment, or does he trust his gut and get involved? Think about it. He's staring at one of the most powerful men in entertainment, a man who could probably get him fired with a single phone call. What made Flores different was his ability to see through the fame. While the source doesn't tell us exactly what training he had, his actions show he knew how to handle a crisis. He didn't freeze up or back down just because there was a celebrity involved. Instead, he assessed the situation for what it actually was, a woman in danger when he first got to the scene. What Flores saw wasn't just concerning, it was alarming. He didn't walk into a typical hotel argument or some minor disagreement. He walked into something that made him take immediate action. And remember, this guy deals with hotel situations all the time. For him to react this way means what he saw wasn't normal. Why is everyone taking Flores's testimony so seriously? Because he has zero reason to lie. He wasn't on Diddy's payroll. He wasn't looking for fame. He was just a security guard doing his job who suddenly found himself in the middle of a situation that didn't feel right. His testimony carries weight because he was an unbiased witness to the whole thing. There's this critical moment when Flores knew he needed to step in, despite the risks to his job, maybe even to his safety. He made the call. How many people would have the courage to stand up to someone? With Diddy's power and influence, not many, but Flores did exactly that. And this is how a regular security guard became the unexpected hero in this disturbing story. Flores testified that he put his body on the doorway to prevent Diddy from following. Cassie, think about that image for a second. A security guard physically placing himself between one of the most influential men in music and a woman trying to escape. He chose to protect Cassie rather than bow down to celebrity status. He made sure she got the help she needed when she was most vulnerable. But what Flores actually saw when he first encountered Cassie is even more disturbing than what the security footage shows. The state she was in wasn't just someone upset after an argument. It was someone who appeared genuinely afraid, someone who showed physical signs that something very serious had happened, and his description of her condition is about to blow this whole case wide open.
Did not want Combs's money. Cassie had a purple eye, the witness says. He told the court that Cassie made her way down to the valet and he followed her to make sure she got help. He noticed the purple eye, he says, and asked if she wanted to call the police. Flores says Cassie told him no and that she just wanted to leave. So here, as you can see, Flores being an intermediary to get, I guess, the stuff so Cassie could go back in, get her stuff that Diddy took, and then exit the situation. This is, we can't see this angle now, but this is apparently when Flores then did put himself in the way. And then, as you can see, she then did get her stuff and was able to leave the premises. Shortly after, Flores also leaves the premise. You're going to see here in a second. There he goes. As then he exits as well, ensuring that Cassie left. He gave her a nice amount of time too. Total hero in my eyes. This guy was not afraid and stood up to the man. Well done. Well done. It gets crazier. So after all that was done, a driver would come to pick her up in a black SUV, told Flores once again that Cassie just wanted to leave, to which Flores replied, "I'm not talking to you." Cassie eventually left in the SUV and Flores went back up with the hotel manager to try to talk to Combs, who took the hotel manager's phone from his hand because he thought he was being recorded. Combs tried to take the phone from the hotel security, but was pinned to the wall by Flores, the former guard testifies. After describing the sack of money Combs offered him as a bribe, Flores then testified that Combs attempted to take the phones of the hotel security guards. He came to the door, closed the door behind him. He grabbed the phone my colleague was holding because he thought it was being recorded. He eventually gave the phone back. We said, "We are not recording you," and de-escalated the situation, he continued. Flores then said that when Combs tried to grab his phone, he pinned Combs to the wall. Wild. What's also interesting, apparently, this video was all removed as Flores went back the next day.
First found Cassie, what he saw was bad enough to make him immediately take action. This wasn't just someone having a bad night, according to his testimony. Flores discovered Cassie literally cornered on the floor, showing clear signs of distress. She was trapped, scared, and desperately trying to get away from the situation. What really stood out to Flores was the night and day difference between how Diddy and Cassie were acting. There's Diddy wearing just a towel, somehow managing to appear totally calm and in control. Meanwhile, Cassie is visibly terrified, shaking, and trying to escape. This massive contrast in their behavior immediately sent up red flags for Flores. Normal arguments don't usually have one person calm while the other is cornered and scared for their safety. The physical signs were impossible to ignore. Flores testified that Cassie had a purple eye, not the kind of injury that happens during a normal disagreement. This visible mark, combined with her overall state and the destroyed hotel room with the smashed vase, painted a clear picture of what had really gone down before he arrived. Imagine walking into that scene as a security guard, a famous celebrity, a destroyed room, and a woman with a visible injury cowering in fear. Cassie's behavior told Flores everything he needed to know. She wasn't just upset. She was actively trying to escape the situation. This wasn't the behavior of someone who just had a heated argument. This was someone who felt unsafe and needed to get away. Her body language, her fear, her desperation to leave it all pointed to someone in genuine danger. Of course, Diddy tried to control the story right from the start. He told Flores they were just arguing and claimed Cassie was trying to leave, but Flores could see the gap between what Diddy was saying and what was actually happening. The security guard wasn't buying the explanation, not with the evidence. Right in front of his eyes, Flores' experience in security meant he knew the warning signs, the power imbalance, the physical injury, the fear, the attempt to control the narrative. These are classic red flags that security personnel are trained to recognize. Seeing all these signs together made it clear to Flores that this wasn't just a celebrity couple having A spat. Despite Diddy's attempts to downplay everything, Flores made sure Cassie got the help she needed. He prioritized her safety over Diddy's status and influence, making decisions based on what he was seeing rather than who he was dealing with. The shocking truth about Cassie's condition that night: she had a purple eye and was visibly terrified. This physical injury directly contradicts Diddy's claim that they were simply arguing. A purple eye doesn't happen during a normal argument. Flores's testimony provides evidence that what happened that night was far more serious than Diddy's team has been willing to admit, but Diddy wasn't done trying to control the situation when he realized.
And they talked about that previously, but clearly they tried to remove these videos. And he talks about how he took some on his own phone. As the transcript, sorry, there's so many transcripts, I'm making sure I gather you everything. He says he took video of the video to show his wife because he knew no one would believe it. He wanted to show his wife. So there was a copy on his phone as well, ironically. So, yeah.